Kara Kamala Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Savakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Kesavadita Nari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Narasinghadev Jaya Narasinghadev Jaya Narasinghadev Jaya Narasinghadev Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Shri Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki Srila Prabhupada ki
Hare Krishna. So thank you once again for coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor this Sunday afternoon. There's many things you could have done on a sunny day like this, but you all made the right choice and decided to come and visit the home of Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda. So there's plenty of things to do here at the manor. There's currently some prasadam being served in the Haveli, and there'll also be a class on the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita right here in the temple room. So please do make some space just here at the left-hand side of the temple room, where we will set up the chair for the speaker. If you're staying for the class, we encourage everyone to face towards the speaker. So thank you everyone for coming, and hope to see you all again very soon. Huh? Oh yeah, and there'll also be kirtans going on throughout the evening with many special guests coming, so we encourage everyone to participate. And the class will be given by His Grace, Rasananda Sankirtan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. That was really nice. I think you're from Leicester, right? Yeah. Do you remember you came to like Loughborough one time? I think I remember you from. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to think of your name. Nayan Dasir. You were driving the Volkswagen.
Oh my god, that's back in
Long time.
Long time, very long time.
Okay. Jesse, can you help me? Thank you for
You
your
100%.
help.
Sure, yes.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Who did that? Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Janavarava Jaya Girivaradari 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 Yashodanana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari 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 Yamuna Jayo Radha
Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Varabha Jaya Girivaradare Jaya Gopi Jana Varabha Jaya Girivaradare Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanacharya Yamuna Tera Vanacharya Yamuna Tera Vanacharya Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Varava Jaya Girivaradare Jaya Gopi Jana Varava Jaya Girivaradare Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana 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 Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Rama, Bolo Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihare, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihare. Hare Krishna. Can you help me with the mic, Prabhu? Can you put the verse on the screen? Sorry, man. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. So today we have a discussion on Bhagavad Gita. So first we'll do the invocation prayers. So if you do know the Mangalacharan, please follow along. Otherwise you can just hear. Yeah. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Sharakaya Shakshuru Miritam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutare Zwayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Shri Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamaram Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagraratam Sagana Raghunata Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaita Savadutam Sairana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Rarita Shri Vishika Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinna Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tauta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sutte Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Karpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much. So the verse that we're going to read today is chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled Contents of Gita Summarized, and the verse will be verse 46. So if you want, you can just go ahead and repeat along, but before that, just repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's perfect. 247. How's everyone doing? Wonderful. That's amazing. That's a good answer. Everybody doing wonderful? That's very good, very good. So this is unprecedented. I haven't been in London for so long. I've been here for about 5 months because my friend and I, we are doing this Bhakti Shastri course. Some of you may know. Wow. So we are studying the Shastras. And part of it is that we have to practice it. So therefore they asked me to give this class. Normally I wasn't supposed to give this class actually. So if anything goes wrong, you can refer to Nishkinchina Chaitanya Prabhu. Nothing can go wrong. So let's go with the verse. The verse goes, and you can repeat after me also. Kamani evadikaraste ma fareshu kadachana ma karma farahitubur ma te sangostve akarmani karmani evadikaraste ma fareshu kadachana ma karma farahitubur ma te sangostve akarmani karmani avadikaraste ma fareshu kadachana ma karma farahitubur ma te sangostve akarmani. So now we can repeat word for word. Karmani, in prescribed duties. Eva, certainly. Adhikar, right. Te, of you. Ma, never. Phaleshu, in the fruits. Kadachana, at any time. Ma, never. Karma phala, in the result of the work. Hetu, cause. Buhu, become. Ma, never. Te, of you. Sangha, attachment. As to, there should be. Akarmani, in not doing prescribed duties. So now I read the translation by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. So you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. So please repeat after me. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Now let's read the purport. There are 3 considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of this work is also the cause of the action. Thus he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into 3 subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. So routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to such work, is not in regard to prescribed duties, but should not act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful, therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. So, this is a very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Just a question we usually ask on Sundays and when we have a lot of guests. How many of you have read Bhagavad Gitas? Yes? We try to do, yeah, we also try to do that. But you're here, so that means a lot. So because we're here, so we can discuss Bhagavad Gita together. So this verse talks about work, basically. So how many of you here work? Do you work? No, she works, okay. So we know that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that without work, nothing can be accomplished, especially within this material world. So we cannot be inactive. Work is necessary for us to sustain ourselves, to sustain our family, to live. The reason why is because not only we have these material bodies, so we have to maintain them, but also the spiritual reason is because we have a soul. And Krishna described in Bhagavad Gita that the soul is always active. It's never inactive. You know, just because you are alive, it means that you are doing something. That's what it means to be alive. So if you are dead, it means you're not doing anything. Right? Okay. So this verse, we try to understand what is the meaning of work. And while I was meditating on this verse, I didn't have so much time to prepare, but I will try to share something that is worthwhile. So before even I begin to go into the verse, I will ask for the blessings of all the devotees present here, and also the devotees present online, and my spiritual teachers, and also my spiritual master. So when we talk about work, we should understand what does work means. Here, Prabhupada in the purport described that there are different types of work that one can be engaged in. So one is prescribed duties, one is capricious work, and one is just being inactive, which is not really working. So concerning prescribed duties, this means that we should follow the injunction described in the Vedas. So those is work, as was being given by God as the rules of how we should deal with the world we live in. So how should we work? How should we engage in this life, actually? So we should understand then that particular part, because chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita will especially deal with karma yoga. So work in Krishna consciousness, So Arjuna keeps asking the same questions over and over again in Bhagavad Gita. What should I do? Should I work or should I not work? Should I go into the fight or should I not fight? So he's confused. He doesn't know what to do. So therefore he asks Krishna for instruction. So what I'm going to tell you here is something you need to remember throughout the whole discussion of Bhagavad Gita, and that will help us understand what is work. First, I will ask you a question. Do you think that God works? You all say yes? What about you, Prabhu? Does God work? In one sense? So, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinasaya shaduskritam, dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, what he does is that Krishna comes down on this planet. Why? Because he will protect the devotees and annihilate the demons, but also to establish the principle of dharma. So you may say, yeah, he works. If he comes and he has to do some activities, therefore God must be working. So we will see if Shastra agrees with you. So basically, when Krishna comes to this world to perform this work, but does he have to? Does he have to? Is God bound by his duty to come here and perform work? Is he bound to? Yes. Yes. So, thank you, sir. That is straight from the Gita. We see you've read the Gita. So that means that Krishna comes to set an example, because if he doesn't do set an example, then men will follow, because Bhagavad Gita, one verse described that, all men will follow, the great personalities, according to example that they said. So this is the reason why we have so many acharyas in our line. Acharya like Srila Prabhupada, they set a great example for us to follow. So he has set an incredible example. So we can talk about Srila Prabhupada, because that can never go wrong. Prabhupada has done an enormous achievement in his life. He has traveled the world more than 14 times, established enormous temples all over the world, has thousands of disciples. And by the way, we have so many of his disciples here at the Bhaktivedanta Manor. So every time you come, you get to get the association. And so everything he has done was tirelessly working for the benefit of all the living entities. This is why we say that the spiritual master is the friend of the living entity. That he's the best friend of the living entity. So this work that he's done, waking up, at 1, 2 in the morning, sleeping no more than 3 hours, always translating, giving, sanghas and, trying to answer the questions that his disciples have. This is enormous, and especially at his age, at very advanced age. So how was that possible? So we say that devotees do not work like normal people, like people who are materially engrossed. Devotees, in a sense, they are a karma, which means that actually they are not engaged in karma. So if you study the word karma, etymologically, the word karma means action. So that's basically what it means, So when you work, it means you are performing some type of activity or some type of action. So this is karma. But this karma we are talking about is the karma that will bind us to this material world. So that is work. So Krishna talks about different types of work, that a person who is engaged in that type of work, where he's attached to the result of that work, then he's bound to this material world. And has to go through the consequences of that, or those actions, or those deeds. Therefore, he either has to suffer, he's going to become frustrated, or he has to enjoy the fruit of those actions. But the problem is here that whatever fruit of that action is, it's never permanent, because we are living in this material world. So whatever work we perform that is not according to prescribed duties or the scriptures, the Vedas, therefore that work will be binding to us. So the scriptures describe that there are different types of karma. There's karma. So karma meaning that one can perform his work activities according to the rules and regulation injunction within the Vedas. So that is good karma. So that good karma will get us good results. So we all want to have good karma, isn't it? We'll get to that point also later. So actually, there's another type of karma that is called vikarma. So that vikarma means that it is work that is done outside the Vedas. So it's actually criminal. It's illegal. It's like a person when you are active in society. You see, you can choose to work honestly and actually make money, take care of your family, maintain yourself. And you can enjoy in this life in that manner, sincerely, honestly, We said the honest man, get those good results in life. But at the same time, you have people within society who you call criminals, The reason why is because they go outside of the law in order to get to where you got by working honestly. So it's not fair. Why would these people, transgress the rules and try to enjoy this world where other people work honestly, and still, because it's very hard to actually maintain this life. So the same way, within the jurisdiction of this world, we have such as the laws of God that everyone has to follow in order to have a good life. And actually by performing such work, one gets purified. And by getting this purification, one can attain salvation, as Prabhupada says in the purport. So the end goal for us is to attain liberation from this world. in order for us to attain the spiritual world. Brahman Bhuyaya Kalpate. So a person who's not either averse, to suffering, or is not overexcited when there's happiness, a person who's sober, dira, it means a person who actually can go through over the ocean of material suffering. You see? Because ultimately there's always suffering, because it is described that there's different types of rasa that one can have within this material world. So rasa means test, right? So there's different ways one can test, the different fruits of this world. So this material rasa, or this mundane rasa, can come into two ways. One is called Chapala Sukha, and Parad Maharaj described in Bhagavatam that this is chewing the already chewed. Have you ever had chewing gum in your life? You're chewing it. At some point, there's no taste anymore. Maybe when you keep chewing it, then you have to spit it out because there's no taste anymore. So this one form of enjoyment that we may have in this world, because the things we have done, we do it over and over and over again. And there's no taste anymore, but we still do them hoping that we can squeeze something out of it. So this is described by Einstein as madness, actually. Because if a person repeats the same action over and over again, and while expecting a different result, that is the definition of being mad, being crazy person, being foolish. Sorry, I didn't say it. So therefore, we need to try to understand that if we want to actually have a relationship with the Lord and have this rasa bhakti to test the test of bhakti, we need to therefore connect with the scriptures, with Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore we may get there. So what I meant to say earlier when I asked you, does God work? So the actual response to that is yes or no. In a way, you may say that he works, but actually God does not work. That's why he's God. God does not need to work. We do. We have to work because we have to not maintain a material body, but God does not have a material body. So the difference between us and God, for example, if I wish something to happen, let's say that now I would like my prashadam to appear in front of me because I don't want to go to the Haveli and I'm lazy. Is that going to happen? Probably not. I have to work for it. I have to actually get up, walk down to the Haveli and go into the line and get my prashadam, But it's not exactly that way that it works with God. By his will, anything and everything can happen. This is inconceivable. This is why God is achyuta. He's different. So in that sense, he does not need to work. The only reason he seems to perform work is actually for the benefit of the living entities. The same reason that when his representatives, Srila Prabhupada, and the devotees come, is for the benefit of the living entities. Actually, the devotee does not work, because what the devotee do actually is devotional service. So you may have two people in life, one who is a karmi or materially interested, and one who is a devotee. So they may be doing exactly the same action, exactly the same activity. They may go to work and do exactly the same thing. But what is the difference? Who can tell what the difference is between those two people? Between the karmis and the devotee, who can tell me what is the difference? Yes. Yes. Exactly. 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 So the difference is activity is there, action is there, because we cannot say that because work is binding, therefore there's no work in the spiritual world. No, there is activity in the spiritual world, but it's not binding. Actually, all activity in the spiritual world are performed for the pleasure of Krishna. Since he is himself the master of the senses, we say Bhoktaram Yagyatashpasham Savaloka Maheshvaram. He's the proprietor of everything. So by engaging in working for Krishna, we don't engage in sinful activities. And this very simple example can be given. So if you are in the army, I don't know if any of you has gone to the army, but let's say you are in the army, you've been a soldier. If you go out to war, and there's so many wars nowadays, and you may kill people, what happens when you come back to your country? They celebrate you. You've done your duty, you know? We can't say that anybody wants to go to work, to war and kill people, right? But you have to do your duty. You still do it, you know? But when you come, then you are rewarded, actually, you know? They give you prize. They give you a medal or something, you know, if you're like a great warrior or something. So, you see, it's not binding. You don't go to jail. But let's say now you don't work inside the rules of the government and you go outside the street because somebody you don't like and you just take their life. What happens? You go to jail. You're punished. So therefore, it's the same way with the laws of God or the kingdom of God. Since we are under the jurisdiction of the Vedas, if we work outside of the Vedas, then we are entitled to be punished by the law of God. You know, which is what karma is basically. Yeah. So there's also a very beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita that kind of gives us a beautiful analogy with the lotus flower. So Krishna says, Brahmaniya daya karmani sangyam chaktva karutiya lipyase nasa papena padma patram ivambasa. So by engaging in our prescribed duties and offering the result of our work to Brahman or Krishna, therefore we are not engaged in sinful reaction. And in that way we are like the lotus flower which is like impermeable to water, you see. So that's a very beautiful verse of Bhagavad Gita that explains what is work. So when I encountered this verse, actually, I was in a moment of my life where I wasn't a devotee. I was just reading Bhagavad Gita and I was trying to understand what is the point, what is the purpose of all of this. So after having a big argument with my mother and my relatives, because we always debate and it always goes like that, we were debating about, I think, COVID or something like that. It was like confinement, so like we were like seeing too much of each other. And so in a very stressful and tense moment, I just decided it's pointless to debate with them. You know, because I was reading Prabhupada's books and I was trying to bring them to, you know, the understanding of Bhagavad Gita, but nothing would work, so I was like, it's pointless. So what I did is that I took Bhagavad Gita, you know, and really prayed to Krishna. Please, Krishna, tell me what should I do? What should I do? And when I opened the Bhagavad Gita, I fell upon that verse, Brahmana adaya karmani sangyam chaktva karutya lipyate nasapapena padma patram ivambasa. A very beautiful verse. That just perform your duty. And by performing your duty without attachment and offering those results to the Supreme Lord, then you don't incur any reactions, any sinful reaction. And therefore, you can be happy. It's very simple. But it's very difficult for most people to be detached from the result of our work, you know, because we think we are entitled to the result. Therefore, in this verse, Krishna knows our mind. We think so. He says, "You're entitled to the work, but not to the result." You know, he can literally read our heart and tell us, I know what you're thinking, but this is not how it works." So, in that way, I think we still have some time. So I'm gonna just stop right here and open up for questions. So if you want to share, make some corrections or ask some questions, please do. We have about 15 minutes left. So anything you can think of on this subject. So the point of the class was to understand that God does not work. Actually, as part and parcel of God, because we are also Mama Ivamsha Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So God does not work, meaning that He's not engaged in karma. That's what it means actually, that God does not work. He's not engaged in karma. He's not bound by His action. If God does something, there's no consequences for Him because He's the one making the laws anyway. You know, so He's not bound by karma. But therefore, when we become liberated, when we come to the same nature as God, we are not bound by karma. We are not bound by the modes of material nature, which are, ignorance, passion, and goodness. We are beyond. We are in sattva guna. So the whole point of how we understand work is to understand that God does not work, and therefore, because everything in the spiritual world is for His pleasure, it's for His service. And what you may find interesting also is that the devotee also does not work. He's engaged in devotional service and pure devotional service. And that service is actually very blissful. Susukam kartum avyayam. So that actually gives us joy. So I think you all can understand this. If you're doing the thing that you love in life, does this seem like work to you? Time goes so fast because you love it. You don't even need to be paid for it. You do it freely if you could, because that's what you love. So this is the same with the devotee. This is the same with Prabhupada. He worked so much, but he loved it. One time, a devotee asked him, how can you do so much? How is it possible? He said, it's because I love it. So it's easy for me to get up in the morning and to go and see Krishna, the deities, because I love it. It's easy for him to translate the books because he loves it, because he loves Krishna. So we need to come to that point of loving Krishna, and therefore everything will become easy. Yeah. So this whole point of, and I will add something to it that Indrajunma Maharaj was sharing this morning while he was giving his initiation class, is that the very amazing thing that happens within this philosophy, in that you will find nowhere else in any other tradition or any other philosophy, is that if you have a pure love of God, pure love, Vraja Prem, therefore even the Supreme Lord Krishna may become subservient, the servant of his servant. So this we cannot find anywhere else. So this is why we say that in the spiritual world, nobody is engaged in work, everybody is engaged in service. And that service is always blissful. So this is what we're trying to get to. Although we need to practice, like Maharaj said this morning, because we are entangled in this material world, and we've been doing this for so many lifetimes, we've been practicing actually being attracted by material things. We've been working for so many lifetimes, you know. So therefore, we need to practice devotional service in order to come to that point. So I will stop here. So please, if you have anything to add, corrections, or if you want to share something. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned that vikarma
Yes.
is karma that is outside of the Vedas, and this is the criminal.
Mm-hmm.
We are bound by the Vedas.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we should not act outside the Vedas.
Yes.
How do we know what is action outside the Vedas? The Vedas are very big,
Yes.
so how do we know?
So, thank you for that question. So there are prescribed duties within the Vedas according to every varna and ashram. So for example, if you're a Grihastha, if you're a family person, there are different prescribed duties for you than, for example, a brahmachari, myself. We don't have to do the same type of prescribed work. So all of that is obviously described in the Vedas. And we refer to, mainly for devotees in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we refer to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is the prescribed duty for a Vaishnava? Beyond, you know, the Varnashram and so on, what is the prescribed duty for a Vaishnava? So it's very simple, actually. The Yuga Dharma of this age, for all people, you know, if in order to get to that liberation, salvation, is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the prescribed duty for us, for the soul. And whenever we engage in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, therefore we can come to that point of returning to, you know, the abode of Krishna. You know, this is our actually true goal in life, you know. So I hope this helps, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Well, then we close here. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. One thing that Krishna mentions many times, or not many, several times in the Bhagavad Gita, and he says, he'll make a really important point, and he will say, this is my opinion.
Yes.
And this is really important, particularly as it relates to karma, cause and effect. And that is simply that we have, like any other creature, we have the privilege of being a human, and we have free choice. We make free choices. We have the opportunity to follow the path of bhakti yoga and affect karma, or we can make a different decision. So this free choice, although we can wield it very wildly, but we can also use the free choice to make decisions that will bring us to a higher plane of spiritual
Yes.
realization. So I think this is a really important point, is the necessity for association, the necessity for the Vedas, the necessity to chant the holy name. It brings us closer to a point when we're making decisions in our lives
Yes.
with our free choice, that we're making decisions that are not negatively impacting
Yes.
our karma.
Yes, that is perfect understanding, because Krishna at the end of Bhagavad Gita, after giving all this knowledge to Arjuna, he tells Arjuna, now you choose. Now you decide what to do. Now you have the knowledge. Because we can only act ignorant up until a certain point. But after we actually get to be in contact with devotees, we get to be in contact with Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, there's no more excuse. We have the knowledge, so it's up to us to actually take responsibility and to act in such a way that we do not incur more karma. So which means suffering for ourselves. So the whole point is to understand what is our real interest. So Prabhupada will repeat many times, a person who is intelligent, he will follow the path of bhakti. Because this is the easiest path actually to get to what we truly want, to get to the bhakti rasa. So that's a very good point, that he gives us independence, freedom of choice. And the whole point of us being here is because we have misused this independence, this freedom of choice. And so as Maharaj, because he had such an inspiring class this morning, and I feel embarrassed to be speaking, but he says that we need all the help we can get in order to go back to Godhead. And I think that's such a wonderful thing, that we can't do it by ourselves. So if we know that we have such a great knowledge, such a great community, that we have such a great teachers, such a great philosophy, it is our duty, our prescribed duty, to actually go out and preach, to go out and give this knowledge to other people. So that's us chanting the Maha Mantra and also sharing this knowledge with others. That is our prescribed duties. So thank you everyone. If there's not anything else, then we conclude here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much.
This one? That one.
What is it called?
Powder.
No,
Mridang.
harmonious. Like they do.
Come.
Yes.